On today's video, we're going to talk about building community around your passion for overlanding. Coming up.
A bad day. That's the
Yeah! I'm Drew and this is Evergreen Overland. On this channel, we help overlanders outfit themselves for adventure through gear reviews, vehicle mod tutorials, and cooking tasty camp meals to share around the fire. In a time where the politics of the world kind of feel like they're designed to keep us polarized and divided, it's important to remember that most people aren't pricks and they just want to feel connected to somebody else and be happy. Yesterday I was hanging out just cleaning up in the garage, and funny enough, one of my buddies who kind of was my first contact into overlanding swung into the driveway with another one of our friends, and we just sat here and BS for a little while. A couple hours later, rifling around in the garage, I came across an envelope with a couple of stickers that I bought from a Facebook group that I'm a part of a couple of the main contributors in that page. We got Jose Wong here and Jeffrey Beers. They both have YouTube channels, which I will link down to below. All of this kind of just got me thinking about where I started in the whole overlanding and truck camping world years ago, and what's brought me to this point of being able to share some of my knowledge with you guys on this channel. Really, without the community of people online or around me who I've been able to contact, pick their brains, and just spark friendships and relationships with, I know I wouldn't be as far along as I am today. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk to you guys about some different places that you can go to start building that community for yourself. If you're liking this content so far, please consider joining our community by subscribing to this channel, throwing a like on the video, or leaving a comment below. In any topic that I'm passionate about, I strive to build community around what makes me happy. Being a beginner to overlanding can be intimidating because it feels like there's a lot of new information to know. You have to find ways to connect with people around you who share similar attitudes, interests, and goals around the same topics that you do. In my mind, it's one of the most important things when you're learning anything new is to build that community, build those friendships, and start interacting with people who are willing to lend that helping hand or impart their knowledge with you along your journey to learn. That's really what this channel is all about, but I encourage you to look further and do a deeper dive into the community that you have around you or at your fingertips. There is a community of passionate enthusiasts out there for absolutely any topic that you could be interested in. You're watching this video on YouTube right now, so obviously you know that this is a great location to go and kind of build community and get knowledge and get skills and just get encouragement for the different things that you want to tackle. I love YouTube. I'm a visual learner, and this is like my hub and where I wanted to give back because it's the way that I learn and the best way I feel that I can convey my message. Facebook is a huge one that I've used throughout the years for just enthusiast groups. I've joined so many different Toyota or off-road vehicle or Pacific Northwest Overlander or search and rescue or 4x4 club, like all these different styles of enthusiast groups on Facebook where you can go and research and ask questions and pick through posts of people who have had the questions that you're going to have about your vehicles or your camping rig or how to cook in cast iron or ham or solar power and how that works. Like, there's no end to the topics and the groups that are dedicated to sharing information and bouncing things back and forth on Facebook. Not a great place to go and talk politics, but as far as going and joining an enthusiast group around something that you're passionate about, you'll get a great snapshot of just kind of what's available for what you want to do. I'll just throw it out right now. One of my favorite Facebook groups I'm a part of is called First Gen Tundras. That's where those stickers came from. Literally every single thing that I've done to my truck has been influenced some way by somebody on that page. As far as like gear goes, and one of the most common pieces of overland gear, obviously your structure you're gonna be sleeping in, whether that's a ground tent or a rooftop tent or a four-wheel camper or a scout camper or an adventure trailer habitat like I have, there's an enthusiast group around any of those things on Facebook of people who own those different platforms where you can go before you buy and you're doing your research as to which one might be right for you to join the group and just kind of pick through people's experiences with it. It's such a significant investment in some of these things that you really want to get the firsthand knowledge of people who have owned them. And that's a place where they all kind of come together and talk about all of the pros and cons and gripes and amazing things. And it's just, I'm part of probably 10 different camper groups alone for campers that I don't even own, but I'm just curious about what their construction is and how the companies operate. It's a really great place to find more information for making those big decisions. Instagram is another one I use for entertainment and just kind of getting new ideas and all that kind of stuff. Interacting directly with manufacturers, I feel like it's a pretty good place to join into the conversation about their products. Forums are another one where there's tons of information out there and people are showcasing all sorts of things from their vehicle builds to expedition trips and everything in between. It's just a great way to interact with the community. Find a Facebook page and a forum that's centered around the exact vehicle platform that you're running. And I definitely recommend in the YouTubes and the social medias and the different forums that you're gonna go out looking for, look for some localized ones to where you're at. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so I want to be jumping on some of those expedition and overland groups in the Pacific Northwest to see where those people are going camping if they share it, or see how they're outfitting their vehicles for the terrain I'm going to be most likely to experience, all that kind of stuff. If they're available to you, I'd definitely join any of the local social media or forum pages to where you're located. Make sure in joining any of these groups that you read through what the community guidelines are. Make sure you're not doing anything that is against those guidelines. And before you ask a question, hit that search bar and search for the topic you're curious about. See if somebody's already answered the question. Somebody more than likely has. Maybe they give you 90% of what you need answered, but you need another 10%. Well, then go ahead and pose that question. But what you don't want to do is be the guy coming into a new group and asking the same question that every new person comes into a group asks. It's better to put a little bit of research into the answer you're trying to find in those groups before posting the question so you don't just get lit up in the comments. Try to have a little bit of a thick skin. Know that there's a lot of keyboard ninjas out there who would say something through the keyboard to you that they wouldn't say to your face. Let those comments roll off your back if you experience them, and key into the people who are seriously there to help. Everybody else can screw off. Trust but verify. Just make sure that you're not taking one person's word as gospel, mine included. Just make sure you're getting multiple people's opinions and perspectives on things. It's awesome that you can communicate with somebody a couple of states away or halfway across the world, but there's something to be said about meeting and talking with somebody in person. Definitely find a local meetup to go take part in and make some connections there. One of my buddies who came over yesterday, like the first person I ever interacted with in the Overland community, online I found a meetup event happening at a local brewery, and I went there, sat down with a group of people I'd never seen before in my life, had dinner, shared some stories, and next thing you know, I got a friend out of it. So that's, how this stuff happens. You gotta reach out to local opportunities and put yourself out there. Avance is a vehicle enthusiast club around the area I'm a part of. They do like a whole sports car and that kind of side of things, but they also have a 4x4 enthusiast group, and those guys are out there doing vehicle driving tutorials and showing people how to go in the dunes and just super cool stuff. Giving back to the community and just showing people how to get out there and how to have fun in a safe way and be responsible. And that's a perfect example. Look for those groups. Search around on the different social media for local cars and coffee events or meetups at different 4x4 shops. Heck, just go into your local overlanding or 4x4 shop and see if they know or can recommend you to any clubs around the area you might want to go check out. Another thing to look into, and maybe just a really awesome opportunity to give back to the community, is joining your local search and rescue, and there's usually a 4x4 vehicle component to that. Each run runs a little bit differently, so you got to kind of figure out if it's something you're interested in, but it would be a great place to learn people and give back to the community that you're trying to be a part of as well. Seriously, it's all about building community. You got to look for your local clubs, you got to look for your local meetups and all that kind of stuff, and start building some in-person relationships.
Jack. 168.
Yes!
Go 168.
Finally! Through! Woo!
I couldn't have built my truck alone. You're gonna need helping hands. No matter what community you're a part in, make sure you are giving back to that community and not just taking. Definitely teach people, take people under your wing, and just remember that you don't have to know everything. You just have to be one step farther along in your journey than the person you're trying to help. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button below to be notified when I put out a new video. Hit the like button to let me know I've done a good job. Definitely throw a comment below if you have any recommendations or questions or different insights, different opportunities that you have been able to formulate and build community around overlanding in your life. Other than that, I appreciate it. Get out there, meet some people, have a good day.